Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sports Stuff video. Today, we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers and my offseason plan to get them into Super Bowl contention. So if you guys enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into it. All right, so 49ers entering their cap space era with their cuts, before cuts, any trades. In 2026, they're at positive $37 million in cap space. For a team that wants to consistently be competing for a Super Bowl, that's not too bad. In 2027, they're at positive 10, and in 2028, they're at positive 74. So this is a team, kind of like the Eagles, kind of like the Browns. They play a long game. So they extend people for, let's say, it's a 3-year, $30 million deal. You know, you think, oh, 10 million. Oh my gosh. You think 3 years, 10 million, that's 30 million over 3 years, 10 million a year. How the 49ers actually operate, though, is they spread out that cap hit across 7 or 8 years. So it's a 3-year, $30 million deal, but their cap hits are like $5 million a year for the next 6 years. So it's really interesting how they do it. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be very blunt with you guys. When I go into my contract extensions and my free agency moves, I am not going to go that far in depth. That's one step too far for a mock offseason plan, but it's to be relatively realistic still. So let's get into it. First cuts and or trades. The first cut I'm going to be making is going to be Brandon Ayuk. Last year did not play a snap for the 49ers. We're going to avoid all of his future guaranteed money. It's basically already given that not only is Ayuk off this team, but it's a good shot he might be out of the NFL. What he's done this last 18 months after he tore his ACL is mine. I don't know what's going on with him. I hope he can get his mind back in order, because I do think he's a top end receiver. I think he has the ability at any point to be a 1,200 8 touchdown guy. So I do hope that he can get everything squared away. He missed team meetings and required events throughout the entire 18-month rehab. He was trying to get traded in 2024 before he signed that extension with the 49ers. So maybe there's a world where one of the teams that wanted him in 2024, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, they take a shot on Brandon Ayuk. But he basically self-voided his contract. Seems to be off the books completely. This is not going to be where the team cuts him or he asks to get released. I think both parties are going to agree, you know what? We're done with each other. We're both going to give up our portion of the money. We're going to get our salary cap back. You're not going to get paid any more money. We're good. We're going to go on our way. So we're going to cut Brandon Ayuk, our starting wide receiver. Next, we're going to cut Trent Williams. Last year, Trent Williams had a 92 PFF grade, 80 pass blocking, 93 run blocking, 4 penalties, and 4 sacks allowed. He's a Hall of Fame left tackle the second he retires. I think, in Washington, he was definitely really good, but he's cemented himself as a Hall of Fame left tackle these last 8 years. I think that's where he really solidified, not only is he a great left tackle, he is a Hall of Fame level left tackle. He's one of the best run blocking left tackles I've ever watched with my own eyes. I've watched Joe Thomas. I watched Joe Staley, who he took over for. I've seen a lot of left tackles in my time. He's one of the best run blockers, period, when it comes to motion moving. And he's, 38 years old doing it. Roster bonus on March 20th. So on March 20th, he gets a $20 million roster bonus that becomes guaranteed money. I don't see him lasting on this roster until that date, because currently there's no guaranteed money left on deal. He has a 1-year, $30 million left on his deal, and I just don't see the team, 1, extending him for a number that he's going to like, 2, letting him stay on roster past March 20th, making that $20 million roster bonus guaranteed. I just don't see it happening. He could be traded, but I think they're going to cut him out of respect, let him land where he actually wants to go, because he does have a really big cap number, and I just don't think any team in the league is going to want to have a 38-year-old left tackle on a $30 million deal. So I think he's going to get cut. Extension is still possible. I do think there's an extension that could be worked out, but I think both sides at this point are like, hey, we can't pay you $30 million a year to be our left tackle. And Trent Williams, if he's like, hey, if I'm going to stay here in San Francisco, I'm getting paid $30 million a year. So I just think both sides, it'd be best for both sides to move on. Trent Williams goes to another scene, tries to win a Super Bowl, and the San Francisco 49ers, they go much younger at left tackle for the future. So we're going to cut him, save $25.5 million. Out of respect, we're going to cut him and not trade him, just so he can choose where he wants to go. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. These hiccups are killing me right now, man. Next is a center, Jake Brendel. Last year, Jake Brendel had a 70 PFF grade, 74 run blocking, 59 pass blocking, 4 penalties, and 0 sacks allowed. He is a solid starting center, but he is 34 years old. I want to get younger on this offensive line. Everyone except for one dude is over the age of 29 years old, 29 to 35. we've got to start building younger and cheaper on the offensive line. And Jake Brendel and Trent Williams are the two guys I'm starting with. He's 34 years old, need to get younger. This is a great draft for offensive line needs. Both guard and center are very deep for high-end role players and or starters. Only $4 million, so I could see him staying for $4 million, but I'd rather cut him, save that $4 million, and use it somewhere else in the roster. Some restructures. I'm going to restructure Nick Bosa. Tore his ACL last year, didn't really play at all. Then Michael Williams, the other edge rusher, tore his ACL. Fred Warner tore his ACL. So there's a lot of injuries that mounted up for the 49ers, and they were still managed to be a competent defense. But Nick Bosa, I'm going to restructure, open up $17 million. Because listen, we need to add more guys to this offense and defense, and we need as much cap space as possible. So Nick Bosa, restructure $17 million, open that up this year immediately. And now in 2026, we're at positive $91 million, which is a great number for a team that, yes, has a lot of holes to fill, but has a very good foundation and coaching staff to get the most out of mediocre talent. Next year, you get positive 46, you open up $36 million in cap space. Then in 2028, 105 positive. So that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. The first re-sign I'm going to be doing, though, is to be Spencer Burford at left guard. Spencer Burford had a 59 PFF grade, 63 pass run blocking, 49 pass blocking, 2 penalties, and 2 sacks allowed. He's a very hit-or-miss guard. You know, he has games where he's really good. He has games where he's really bad. But most of the time, he's mediocre. He has significant snaps in his career at right guard and left guard. So I'm willing to have him at minimum as a backup guard to be our, backup for 2 positions. I don't think you can rebuild the entire line in 1 year, especially because there's so many other teams in the NFL that are all rebuilding their offensive lines at this current moment. I do think the 49ers, if they want to be competitive, had to have a good offensive line, and Spencer Burford knows the offense, and you can rely on him to be your left guard for the future. Reliable run blocker throughout his career. Pass blocking, it's been hit or miss, but when it comes to run blocking, he is definitely someone that is roster worthy. So we could give him a 2-year, $7 million deal, $4 million guaranteed at 57% guaranteed to come back and at minimum be our backup swing guard, at best be our starting left guard next season. Next guy I want to re-sign is Jake Tonjes. Jake Tonjes, a tight end. Last year, had 34 receptions, 293 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He was great in relief of George Kittle. George Kittle is 33 years old. He's had injury issues the entirety of his career, and now he's he's a very old veteran. So Jake Tonjes, I do think he's gonna be very valuable. He knows the offense. He performed in the offense. Let's just keep the guys that play well for us. Great run blocker. He improved as a red zone threat this year. And with a weak wide receiver core, I do think you need a good core of tight ends that, perform well in your offense. And we know George Kittle will. Jake Tonjes showed that he can this year. So let's re-sign to a 2-year deal. Same deal as Spencer Burford. 2 years, $7 million, $4 million guaranteed at 57%. Next guy, this is the first extension we're doing, not a re-signing. The only extension I want to work on is to be Jair Brown, the starting strong safety. This year, he had 48 tackles, 2 interceptions, 15 run stops, and 2 pass breakups. He had a fantastic season at strong safety, not free safety. Malik Mustafa is our free safety. But Jair Brown has been good since he got drafted. Took over Talanoa Hufanga last year. He's an above-average run defender. Definitely someone that could improve a little bit better. But I like his ball skills and how he can wrap up runners. Really, that's big plays past them with the speed he has, the on-ball vision he has. I'm a big fan of Jair Brown, and I do think the 49ers have gotten a lot out of him. So I'm going to give him a 4-year, $55 million deal, $31.5 million guaranteed at 57% with a $20 million signing bonus. So he gets, a good amount of money, $31.5 million guaranteed. The team gets him on, what is that, a 10, 12, I don't even know, a $13 or $14 million a year deal. That's not awful for Jair Brown for starting strong safety play, that of someone that you can actually believe in, is a solid run defender, really good pass defender as well, with 2 interceptions and 2 pass breakups. He's getting in lanes, and he's one of those guys in your secondary that, of all the guys in your secondary, Diamador Lenore and Jair Brown are the only 2 that are not, within 2 years of the rookie contract. So I do think you need to invest for the next few years in your secondary, and Jair Brown is someone I definitely want to keep around for the long term. So, entering free agency with those 3 guys re-signed and extended, we are now at positive $87 million in cap space in 2026, positive 31 in 27, and positive 91.5 in 28. So, the first free agency move I'm going to be making is going to be D-tackle Shelby Harris. Last year, he had 26 tackles, 2 sacks, 20 run stops, 19 pressures, and 4 4 batted passes, which was 8th in the NFL. He's a good rotational D-tackle for a very young room. You have CJ West, you have Alfred Collins. Those are the only D-tackles that, as of this moment, are signed. So bringing Shelby Harris, he's been doing it for the Browns the last couple of years, being a veteran in the room. I think he can do the same thing in San Francisco. He's one of the best ball batters in the league. The way this is the entirety of his career. He's very good at predicting passing lanes and getting his hands involved. He's useful both pass rushing and run stopping. Definitely someone that no matter what, if someone's injured or we need to step up because of poor play, you can trust Shelby Harris to anchor for a game. He's going to be a great locker room guy for the D tackles as well. From every report I've seen for the Browns, Shelby Harris is one of those vets that everyone loves. So I do want to get him over here in San Francisco to back up CJ West and Alfred Collins and be that third down guy. So we give him a 1-year, $3.5 million deal to get him to come over to San Francisco. I did say I wanted to get younger and I wanted to get cheaper, but listen, sometimes things line up very well, and I think Demario Davis is the next guy I'm going to be signing. So Demario Davis this year had 99 tackles, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles, 55 run stops, which was 7th in NFL, and 13 pressures. He is still a quality run defender. 55 run stops, which is 7th in the NFL, it's nothing to scoff at. This dude, no matter what, shows up big. And I would love to have him behind Fred Warner. This team needs major linebacker help. They were signing dudes off the street that play in playoff games. That's how depleted this linebacker room was. So let's get Demario Davis, that we know is a very good linebacker, does not need to play every single snap of every single game, can come in for situations, can come in case of injury, and try and win a ring in his final year. And I think him and Fred Warner, those are two of the best linebackers of the last 10 years. I would love to see them play together. And I do think it's something that is a possibility. He gets to play in a warm weather state. I don't think he's coming back to New Orleans. I think they're going to move on from him because they're in cap hell. The 49ers, we have the money. Let's get Demario Davis to be our third linebacker in this room on a 1-year, $4.5 fully guaranteed deal. Next is going to be Luke Fortner to start at center for us. Luke Fortner had a 67 PFF grade, 65 run blocking, 73 pass blocking, 3 penalties, and 3 sacks allowed. He started great at center for NOLA this year. The New Orleans Saints, they had injuries. They had, a bunch of issues on their team. But once Tyrus Shuck really took over, Luke Fortner plateaued. Oh, yeah, no, what was it? Plateau's not the word. He improved immensely. He's only 27 years old, so he's still in his prime right now. He's an athletic guy, and I do think a Kyle Shanahan offense would love his run blocking prowess. It's a little underrated from his Jacksonville and New Orleans years, but this is a very athletic, fast dude with violent hands. I think Luke Fortner would make a great fit at center for the next couple of years for the 49ers. He's only 27, so he is young, would be the youngest guy on the offensive line the minute he was signed. So we can give him a 3-year, $22 million deal, $13 million guaranteed at 59% guaranteed for Luke Fortner to come over and finish off the interior of our offensive line. And speaking of offensive line, there's one more guy I want to bring across. That is Braxton Jones. Braxton Jones last year had a 56 PFF grade, 63 pass blocking, 47 run blocking, 1 penalty, and 2 sacks allowed. He is a valuable swing tackle for this offense. You have Cole McKivitz at right tackle. I didn't do anything with him. My goal in the draft is to go and get a franchise left tackle. But if we can't do it, you can trust Braxton Jones to start for you, and at worst is your backup swing tackle. I do think he can start if you can't find a guy in the draft. He's been a great pass blocker so far in his career. I will say his run blocking has never really developed, but as a pass blocker, he is a starting level pass blocking left tackle, but injuries and poor run blocking really do hold him back. It's a 1-year deal for a potential starting left tackle, and if he does play well for you and you can't find someone in the draft, I think you can extend Braxton Jones and have your left tackle solidified. But 1 year, $3.5 million to get our guy in-house. So other signs I want to get on the offensive line, I'm going to sign Andres Pete. I want to get a veteran guy who can be a right tackle for us, but also can be a guard in case of injuries if they start mounting up. So Andres Pete has been a guard, been a tackle in the NFL. We'll get him on a 1-year, $2 million deal. Mike Dana, I'm going to get for the Kansas City Chiefs, who just cut after 6 years in Kansas City. Really good pass rushing edge rusher. I'm going to give him a $3.5 million deal to be that 4th or 5th guy in the room. Shy Tuttle, backup D tackle, veteran guy, 1 year, $2 million, good run stopper. Avonte Maddox, you guys know my go-to veteran nickel corner that I love to sign, 1 year, $2 million. Then Noah Brown, I want to add some speed and depth, deep threat ability to this offense, and I'm going to sign Noah Brown for 1 year, $2 million. That's all he does. So entering the draft, you're at positive $69 million in cap space. I did not sign anyone further. I want that to roll over to next year, because in 2027, you're at positive $22.7 million. This team never really gets too close to the cap, being negative in the cap. And I do think they're going to value, hey, if this, this window is not ours right now, the Seahawks are really good, the Rams are trying to win right now. We're going to try and win, obviously, because we have a team that could win the Super Bowl. But we're not going to go so far in the cap negative, or getting close to the cap, that we're just spending money to spend money. I decided to make smart, efficient moves and elevate the floor of our team while not going all out and signing Tyler Linderbaum for $27 million a year. Tyreek Hill for 2 for $50. I could do that, but I think it's more realistic. They're going to be a little more cost effective this year and try and build for the future while also competing right now. So in the NFL draft, I decided to go a certain routes. Boom. At number 27, I'm going to grab Caden Proctor, left tackle from Alabama. I do not think Caden Proctor is a top 15, top 20 prospect, but if he's sitting at number 27, listen, the 49ers, they have done a great job of drafting and developing offensive linemen a lot. Both it was Aaron Banks, Dominic Pooney, Spencer Burford, Colton McKivitz. They've done a very good job in the last 5 years of developing this offensive line to be, good with not high draft picks. So Caden Proctor is going to be the one really big draft pick that we need to hit on. He has a legitimate shot at a franchise left tackle, if I'm being honest. He needs to be a little bit more nimble. The Niners, they love to run around, and I do think the dietitians are going to love Caden Proctor because that's going to be the biggest challenge is, hey, we need to get this guy in weight consistently because, Caden, he definitely got better in Alabama as the season went on. He ended the season 6'7", 366. But rumors were he was 400 pounds at the start of the NFL season. So I think the dietitians and nutritionists definitely need to get him on a meal plan and say, hey, listen, if you want to make it in the NFL, you've got to be slimmer, you've got to be more nimble, and here's what we got to do. He's only 21 years old, so definitely has more time. It won't need to become a better run blocker to be successful in the scheme long term. But I'm willing to say year one, hey man, if you got ready to start, we have Braxton Jones for 1 year. We can start over you. But if you and Braxton, it's an all-out battle. Who wants to win left tackle? Who wants to be the starter for the 49ers? And I do think that would motivate Caden Proctor to get skinny, to get more nimble, and get more fluid in his first step. Then at round 2, number 58, I'm going to grab Elijah Surratt, wide receiver from Indiana. You guys know him. I love Elijah Surratt. He's one of my guys in the second round. Great run blocker, fits the scheme because he's a great run blocker. Great frame as well. Last year he had 15 touchdowns, but the 2 years before that he had 8 each. So he's consistently that wide receiver at boundary, big body threat. Good route runner. I do think he's a starter right away in the second round. This wide receiver core, without Brandon Ayuk, without Juwan Jennings, who I let walk, I do think it's a very weak wide receiver room. So Elijah Surratt can step in and immediately start for you. Then in round 3, number 92, I'm going to grab Darrell Jackson Jr., D tackle from Florida State. He's a good run defender. He can eat up run lanes next to Alfred Collins and CJ West. They fit the similar mold, right? Big, wide run stoppers. That's what they love at D tackle. That's what their defensive scheme. Wow, that's what their defensive scheme relies on, is D tackles eating up the run, letting the edges go to work in the pass rush. And that's what they believe in. And I do think Darrell Jackson is another guy you can kind of throw into that mold. He has an 8.9% run stop rate, which was top 10 in this class. He's 23 years old, so he's a little bit older as a prospect, but that just means that he's ready to compete and help the Niners win right now. Then at round 4, number 133, I'm going to grab DJ Campbell, guard from Texas. He's 6'2", 321 as a right guard. We signed Spencer Burford to a 2-year deal, and that coincides with Dominic Pooney, who's a free agent in 2028. And Dominic Pooney has not really shown me a whole lot in his NFL career so far. So this gives DJ Campbell a year or two to develop into a really good guard, and then you can move on from Dominic Pooney and or Spencer Burford and let DJ Campbell start for you. It's a good run and pass blocker for a 4th-round prospect, but I do think his ceiling is a starter in a Shanahan offense. So we can get him in the 4th round, develop him for a year or two. I feel very comfortable in a year or two, moving on from both Dominic Pooney and or Spencer Burford for DJ Campbell. Then around 4, number 138, I'm going to grab wide receiver Reggie Virgil from Texas Tech. 6'3", 190. He's a big body guy for Brock Purdy. He's kind of that Brandon Ayuk replacement of that big body deep threat. Boundary guy outside the numbers. He adds another threat to the passing game, and that's what this offense needs, is to add threats to the passing game without spending a lot of money or capital on it. Then I'm going to do a trade right here. At number 127, there was absolutely no one I wanted. It was all quarterbacks, running backs, and tight ends in round 4 at 127. There was no one I really liked, so I decided to trade back with the Denver Broncos. They move up. They're able to get their running back or tight end that they want. Then we trade back. We grab 168, 251, and 256. So 1 pick turns into 3 picks. And at 168, I'm going to grab Pat Coogan, the center from Indiana, sitting behind Luke Fortner. Pat Coogan, he anchored the interior offensive line for the national championships this year. I could see him ending up in Vegas with Fernando Mendoza. If you're in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, I think I could see the Raiders pairing those two guys back up together. But he's 6'5", 311. He has experience at guard as college career as well. But I want to be a backup center. Backup Luke Fortner, and at worst, you have a good backup for 4 years. Then in round 5, number 171, I'm going to grab edge Caden Curry from Ohio State. I don't think he's going to be here in the 5th round when it comes to draft day, but I don't care. I'm going to draft him still in the 5th round. Last year, he had 12 sacks. He's a great run defender. He got full-time starter snaps, finally made the most of the opportunity. He's good off the line with a burst. He's the prototypical 4-3 defensive end. I do think with Michael Williams and Nick Bosa coming back from injury, I think they're going to invest heavily in the edge position. You know, it was Mike Dana. It's now Caden Curry. I think that'd be something that they really do want to emphasize, is getting more edge production through the rotation. Then in round 7, 251, I'm going to have Joshua Braun, the guard from Kentucky. He's a good guard, both left guard and right guard experience. You know, for a 7th round guy, it's just a swing at depth. Then Xavier Nwankpa. Xavier, you know, he has snaps at strong safety, free safety, and nickel corner. But mostly it's free safety, with then the second amount is at nickel corner. So he's to be a backup free safety behind Malik Mustafa. Nothing crazy. A few years ago, I actually had Xavier as like a day 2, early day 3 pick, but he kept going back to Iowa for his senior year and his redshirt senior year, and those 2 years he did not play as well. So he's fallen all the way to the 7th round, which is crazy because I did have him highly rated just a couple of years ago. So I do like this draft. You know, Caden Proctor, franchise left tackle possibly. Elijah Surratt can start immediately, and he fits the scheme. Darrell Jackson fits what you want at D tackle. DJ Campbell can sit for a year or 2 behind Dominic Pooney. Reggie Virgil could start for you immediately. Pat Coogan, backup center, potentially a starter if Luke Fortner doesn't work out. Caden Curry, you know, high value production edge. Joshua Braun, same thing, swing guard. And Xavier Nwankpa as a free safety backup. I like it. You know, not an awful draft, but definitely not one of my best. So my projected depth chart for 2026 at quarterback. Yeah, Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, and Curtis Rourke. I did not trade Mac Jones. Brock Purdy's been a little bit injury prone throughout his career. So if I can have Mac Jones as my backup next year, absolutely I'm doing that. And guess what? At the trade deadline, if a quarterback gets hurt, guess who they're going to be calling? Mac Jones. It will be getting called at the trade deadline next year. And at worst, he sits here, you know, he rides your bench for the entirety of the year, whatever. Then Curtis Rourke, again, that's the young guy. I'm a big fan from Indiana. Then at running back, we got Christian McCaffrey, Jordan James, Isaac Guerrero, tight end, George Kittle, Jake Tonjes, Luke Farrell. No change at quarterback, running back, or tight end, but massive change at wide receiver. You got Ricky Pearsall at boundary receiver, Demarcus Robinson's at power slot, then Elijah Surratt as the boundary. Backups, Reggie Virgil, Jacob Cowan, Jordan Watkins, and Noah Brown. 7 guys, a lot of them are speed, some size, some possession, some slot guys. I like it. You know, I definitely wish we could get more high-powered name to the room, but I think in rotation, you can make up for not having a name. Then in the offensive line, no Trent Williams for the first time in 8 years. So Caden Proctor at left tackle, Spencer Burford, Luke Fortner, Dominic Pooney, Colton McKivitz. Backups, Braxton Jones, Joshua Braun, Pat Coogan, DJ Campbell, and Andres Pete. So the only returning guys from the offensive line last year is Spencer Burford, Dominic Pooney, and Colton McKivitz. Everyone else, that is 7 guys in this room, are all new to the team. So I think it's possible. This offensive line has to get younger and better, and I do think that that's what these moves are. Then at defensive tackle, Alfred Collins, TJ West are going to be the starters, with Shelby Harris, Darrell Jackson, and Shai Tuttle as the backups. I like it. That's a lot of good run defense with Shelby Harris's pass rush ability as well. At edge, you have Michael Williams and Nick Bosa returning from injury, with Bryce Huff, Keon White, Mike Dana, and Caden Curry. That is a 6-man group that I believe in. This is a group, if everyone's healthy, could easily rival and be like a top 5 sack production team. But we'll see. Everyone coming back from injury, what they get turned into. At linebacker, Fred Warner and D. Winters are your starters, with Nick Martin, Demario Davis, and Tatum Bethune as your backups. Well, I like it. You know, it's deep. A lot of playing experience between that 5-man group. I like it. Then at corner, you got Renardo Green, Upton Stout, and Diamonor Lenore. I like the cornerback room. They've been a really good job at rotating their corners every single year. With backups from Darrell Luter, Jakob Johnson, Saron Neal, and Trey Thomason. Then at safety, the extension of Jair Brown to make him a long-term 49er, with Malik Mustafa as a starter, and Marquise Sigel and Xavier Nwankpa as your backups. I like it. You know, I think this is more of a 9 or a 10 win team than it is a 12 or 13 win team. I think the Seahawks would definitely beat them, the Rams would definitely beat them, and they'd beat up on the Cardinals. But I think I like it. They always overperform every single year, no matter, give them all the credit that you want. They do overperform every year. So I'm willing to say they're a 10 or 11 win team, but I don't see them getting any more than 11 wins. That's their ceiling, is 11 wins. So if you guys enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of my offseason, of my projection, and how many wins do you think this team would get? If you guys enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.